On October 31st, 92 high school basketball teams began practicing in hopes of reaching the state finals. Now they're just two. And for many of these teenage boys, it may be the most thrilling moment of their lives. These players may end up being doctors and lawyers. But this 2-hour happening on a Saturday morning will stay with many of them for as long as they live.
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm a senior now, and I've had 4 great years at St. Charles West, but this is going to be my last game that I ever play in a St. Charles West uniform, and I'm going to give everything I've got and leave nothing out on the court.
All the pressure that I feel is probably self-inflicted. You want to do well, you want to come out and do your best, and that's probably the pressure that I feel, to make sure that I'm in a position to help my kids be successful.
You are looking at the basketball capital of the state, the Hearn Center, today the home of the Missouri Class 4A State Championship. Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Cusimano. With me, my partner, Chris Trevino, and we feel we have a terrific matchup today. On one side of the coin, the Vashon Wolverines. They know how to get here. This is their 10th trip to the Final Four in the last 12 years. They also have tremendous size. 6 players that are 6'4" or above. On the other side of the coin, St. Charles West. They come in here with one of the great players in the state, Ryan Roberts.
Well, you're right, Frank. Ryan Robertson is a remarkable talent. He's headed to play college ball at Kansas University. You see, he can score. He can help others score. Great shooter, maybe even better as a driver to the basket. He feels the time is now for St. Charles West. It's only their 2nd trip ever to the Final Four. First title game. They have won 20 consecutive games coming into this championship match today.
We tend to stereotype teams from what part of the state they're from. Usually the teams from the county like to play a half-court game. The teams from the city like to run. That is not the case today, Chris.
Vashon is a fortunate team in that they can run, but they also can play half-court defense. What really impressed me last year in their state championship run was their outstanding defense. Pressure on the perimeter with the guards, Anthony Love and Ernest Askew. Under Floyd Irons has been so successful, they can succeed as a team in all different types of games.
We'll be back with the starting lineup right after this. Welcome back. Let's go to the public address announcer for the Chrysler Plymouth starting lineup.
First with the non-starting players for the St. Charles West Warriors. Number 5, Brad Vashon. Number 15, Nathan Griffin. 20, Mr. Wolverine. And Brandon Alvey. 40, Vic Ford. 22, Max Florentine. 44, Eric Phillips. 25, Bill. Now I'm non-starting players for the Vashon Wolverines. Number 12, Andy Lewis. Number 4, Ruben Sidney. Number 3, Steve Henderson. Number 22, Owen Watson. Number 34, Michael Harris. Number 44, Maurice Sanford. And number 52, James Williams. Now our starters for the 4A boys, state champions Wisconsin. For the St. Charles West Warriors, the forward, the 4 junior, number 10, Troy Robertson. For the Wolverines, the forward, the 6'4" junior, number 40, Danny Davidson. For the Warriors, the playing forward, the 6'10" junior, number 15, Dan Weber. And for the Wolverines, the forward, 6'6" sophomore, number 42, Lamont Finer. For the Warriors, the center, 6'7" senior, number 33, Jared Whitlock. And for the Wolverines, the center, 6'7" senior, number 54, Watson. For St. Charles, West Guard, 5'9" junior, number 32, Adrian Beard. And for the Carolina Guard, 5'8" junior, number 10, Anthony Long. For the Warriors, a 6'4" senior, number 11, Ryan Robertson. And for the Wolverines, the
The Class 4A Championship basketball game will tip off after these messages from your local station. Well, and Marquise Watkins for the opening tip. The referee for today's game, Al McFerrin and Mike Moeller. There's a good look at Ryan Robertson. St. Charles will control the tip. This is Adrian Beard. He's their point guard, a pretty good football player too, an outstanding running back and defensive back. This is Weber. Down low, Troy Robertson. Looks like he got fouled, but Vashon will control. Anthony Love will run the point for the Warriors, for the Wolverines. Vashon wants to play a half-court slow-down game and jam it inside. Lamont Bonner, top of the key, down low to Watkins, deflected, and a foul on the play.
Frank, good defense there by Jim Shemwell. Yesterday, he was going up against Kansas City Central's Derek Hood, a big guy who's headed to Arkansas, a big inside talent. Watkins, also a great inside player for Vashon. Shemwell had success playing in front of Hood. He did the same thing that time to Watkins, trying to deny him the basketball down low on the entry pass.
Vashon will open up in a man-to-man defense. Danny Davidson has the unenviable task of guarding Ryan Robertson. This is Troy Robertson. Adrian Beard. Ryan stolen away and picked up by Davidson. Vashon comes out with an aggressive man-to-man defense. Good trip there on the defensive end by Vashon. Davidson from three-point country. No. Robertson, great pass to Shemwell. Missed the layup. Foul down low. Looks like it's on Marquise Watkins. He got into early foul trouble yesterday, but he did not foul out. In fact, he was the key reason why Vashon won the game.
Yeah, led the Wolverines with 19 points. And Troy Robertson, Ryan's younger brother, doesn't get nearly as much attention as Ryan. Good job on the offensive glass. Hard worker, 6'5" forward who really plays well alongside his brother. He's the other Robertson, but a good one.
This is Troy. He can shoot the three. Down low to Weber. Didn't play much yesterday. Stripped away by Ernest Askew. You will hear his name a lot on the defensive end. Fort Irons calls him the pulse of his basketball team. Down low, Watkins. Looks like he got pushed. St. Charles recovers. Weber wants to put it in Ryan's hands. Does. Shemwell for the jam. That's the way a state championship could open up.
Well, that's a great sequence for Jim Shemwell. Again, defensively, he had good position at the end against Watkins, caused the errant pass, I believe, then comes back, taps over the slam dunk. Shemwell's a key, does a lot of little things, but very key to this ball club.
This is Askew. They'd like Bonner inside. He's guarded by the 6'2" Weber. Bonner is begging for the basketball. He's got it now. Rebound the other way. Robertson across the timeline. Davidson reached in. St. Charles West wanted the foul. They won't get it. Troy Robertson will drive on Bonner, stop and pop. No, rebound Watkins. Anthony Love guarded by Ryan Robertson. St. Charles West will spend most of this game in the man-to-man defense. Davidson, Askew, down low, Watkins. Won't get it to fall. Rebound Shimwell. Ryan, nice look to Adrian Beard, and he is hacked by Watkins.
Well, that's a couple quick fouls on Marquise Watkins. That is not at all what Floyd Irons wanted for his senior post player. 6'7", and was part of that great state championship last year for Vashon. Back again this year, but 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes.
So Adrian Beard will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Beard, a member of the National Honor Society for St. Charles West. In fact, it's a great story that 8 of the 15 players playing for St. Charles West made the National Honor Society.
You know, it's amazing how many times kids do well in the classroom, they do well on the court either. Just good preparation in both angles of life.
They're 29-2. Their only 2 losses of the season, Abe Lincoln at the shootout and DeSmet High School in the finals of the Merrimack tournament. There's a good look at the jam by Shemwell to open things up. St. Charles West leads it 4-0. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back. St. Charles West leads it 4-0 early in the first quarter. There's a good look at Floyd Irons. He's won 538 games. He's 46 years old. He is trying to win his 6th state championship. He played at Vashon. He's a tremendous success story in St. Louis sports.
Remarkable what that school's done. 6 state titles and 5 under Floyd. And just year after year, they seem to be back here in Columbia for the state title game.
Watkins on the baseline. It gives it Davidson. Love is the leader. Davidson. Fouled before the shot, we believe, on Troy Robertson.
You know, Danny Davidson's an interesting young man. Last year had a great run in the state championship round. And Floyd Irons said yesterday after the semifinal win, he was really the key to their victory over Sykeston getting to this title game. He said you could see the gleam in his eye. He was really hungry, and coach liked that from his player, Danny Davidson, inbounding now.
Love a threat from 3, won't shoot it there. Down low, Watkins. Ryan across the timeline. Troy goes baseline, pops it out to Ryan. They're going to call a 3-second call on Dan Weber.
Well, Weber looked to be camped underneath in the lane inside a little bit, but a decent idea by Troy Robertson going in, then kicking it out for a wide-open 3. Brother Ryan had a terrific look at the basket if that shot was allowed to go.
St. Charles West with a commanding 5-1 rebounding lead early in this basketball game. This is Watkins, Love. Askew from 3, got it. Vashon goes zone now. Ryan can shoot the 3, pulls up from 15 instead, misses it. Rebound, Shemwell. Love the other end to Lamont Bonner. Can't get the fall. They're setting an all-time record for most missed 3-footers.
They're really having trouble getting the ball to go down.
This is Beard from three-point country. Got it.
That's vintage Ryan Robertson, folks. If you haven't seen the young man play, so strong to the basket, and if the layup's not there, he'll kick it out to a teammate who's wide open. Great pass by Robertson to Beard for the open 3, and St. Charles West in good shape early.
Askew down low, Bonner. Now, you would think that would be a matchup that Vashon would want to exploit right away. 6'6", Lamont Bonner. He's the nephew of Anthony Bonner of the New York Knickerbockers, guarded by 6'2", Dan Weber.
Yeah, Bonner, a young man, just a sophomore, has had a lot of success, and as you mentioned, it's in his blood, possibly. But it's a thing where the obvious advantage to Vashon would be the side, but St. Charles West with great help defense working out inside against the Vashon Wolverines had tough luck shooting so far.
Maurice Sanford has just checked in for Lamont Bonner. On the baseline is Love. No. Rebound, Troy Robertson.
Great position inside rebounding for the Warriors so far tonight.
Shimwell. There is a lid on that basket. This is Ryan from three-point land. No. Askew the other end. Tried to pass it, actually, to Sanford.
And that almost went in.
This is Troy Robertson, left hand, no. St. Charles West will keep it.
They may try that more often. The tough luck they've had shooting, that was as close as they've got one to going down. But the thing about Vashon is, we saw it last year, we saw it yesterday in the semifinals. They may be down, they may start slow, but boy, Floyd gets his guys going sooner or later, and they are known for making their runs. And Askew and Love in the backcourt will get it going sooner or later, so you better be wary if you're St. Charles West against this bunch.
Bonner checks back in, and Askew will take a seat on Floyd Irons' bench. It looks like he's tying up his shoe, having a little problems with his shoe. Ryan baseline, pulls up, no. Rebound, Watkins. Love. He's rejected by Beard, but they're going to call Beard, so Love will go to the free throw line to shoot two.
Anthony Love is a guy you expect to have a big game today, and I say that he had a tough day shooting yesterday from the field, and he can really knock down the three-pointer. Didn't get it to go yesterday. Young man, junior, was here last year on the state championship team. We talk a lot, deservedly so, about Ryan Robertson, but these two guards, Ernest Askew and the gentleman at the line now, Anthony Love, really quick, really make things happen for the Wolverines up front.
Some substitution for St. Charles West. Bill Seymour, 6'4" sophomore, checks into the basketball game. Seymour started most of the year. Shimwell had some great problems early and did not play, so Shimwell is used to playing in big games. Love missed it. Rebound Sanford. He's got it to fall. What a nice luxury for Floyd Irons to go to the bench and bring off a 6'7" sophomore.
Yeah, and then they just bring in at the last free throw 6'8" sophomore James Williams, who didn't play yesterday, so they've got tremendous size and depth, Vashon.
Beard from three. Nope. Good battle. They're going to call Seymour on the foul. Danny Davidson with good position. Davidson is a guy that some Division I schools will look at. We know St. Louis University is very interested in Danny Davidson.
I think they should be. He really impressed me last year. You know, they had Antonio Bobo, and they had, of course, Marquise Watkins, but Davidson really has impressed me as the quiet guy in the front line.
Okay, we'll take a break. This Class 4A championship basketball game will return after these messages from your local station. And welcome back to the state championship game. St. Charles West leads at 7-6, 1:43 to go in the first quarter. Of course, this gymnasium is used to slow starts with the way Missouri's been playing recently.
Frank, slow finish yesterday in the Big 8 tournament. We won't talk about that now, though.
That was a shocker. This is Danny Davidson. They're going with a one-guard lineup. I'm surprised that Askew has been out this long. Fort Irons does not like to keep him on the bench very long.
Yeah, he really likes Ernest Askew, really boasting about him for good reason. Yesterday, with the performance he had in the semifinals, they've just taken advantage of the size differential, I think, here against St. Charles West, trying to at least.
Davidson from three-point land, he's got it.
There he is. Just a junior, too, Frank. That's why he's getting some early looks. Just a young man still developing.
The other end of the court, and Troy Robertson was hacked by Anthony Love, so Troy will shoot two free throws. Boy, a slow start to say the least. St. Charles West 2 for 11, Vashon 2 for 10, and the thing about it is, both coaches will not be real concerned with these numbers because they're getting good shots. Most of these misses have been in the paint.
You're absolutely right. And again, a little bit of nerves, I think. Statewide television audience, state championship on the line. So that's to be somewhat expected.
The Vashon Wolverines spent their evening at the Columbia Mall, just kind of browsing, relaxing. St. Charles West players came here to watch Borgia play. Many of those players played with Borgia players in the AAU ranks growing up.
Going to give him another shot after a lane violation. Terry Hollander is some gentleman, isn't he?
Yeah, he's never left the St. Charles area. He actually played at Vashon High School. He spent the last 17 years at St. Charles West. This is, of course, his second trip to the Final Four. Last year, these two teams met in the semifinals.
And Vashon came away with a 79-77 overtime win. Hollander says he certainly respects Vashon's tradition, but they think their time is now. They've done everything they can to get this opportunity.
51 seconds left in quarter one. We have a 9-9 game. Love tried to throw the lob pass to Maury Sanford. The ball goes out of bounds. Boy, there is some size on the floor right now.
And most of it's going to be back next year for Vashon, with the one exception of Marquise Watkins. They got three guys 6'7" or above.
Seymour. They like that little backdoor play. They tried to get it to Ryan, but Troy couldn't. Danny Davidson doing a nice job on Ryan Robertson.
Davidson's got those long arms. We talked before the game, before the broadcast, about who would guard Ryan Robertson. We guessed in a man defense for Vashon it would be Davidson. He's got that long wingspan, and of course Robertson at 6'4", good-sized guard. But Davidson's a nice match, and you see them two in the picture there defensively. So far, so good for him and Vashon.
The Warriors will hold for one shot. 21 seconds to go here in quarter one. Beard threw up a bad shot. It's rejected by Watkins.
Didn't throw it up far, did he?
This is Love. Shot clock at 8. Watkins misses the 3. Rebound Sanford. And he's got it to fall. So after one period, Vashon leads St. Charles West 11-9. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Missouri State 4A Championship game. There's a good look at Floyd Irons, and you wouldn't know he's up by 2 at this point.
No, you wouldn't. And but that's Floyd Irons, and he demands a lot from his players. I asked him yesterday after the semifinals if they talked a lot about getting back and defending their state championship. He said, no, because we don't have to. The kids know what's on the line. He gets frustrated, as any coach would, with youngsters, teenagers. He says sometimes he doesn't know which team's going to show up. He doesn't know if it's going to be Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. But 9 times out of 10, at least they'll come up with a victory one way or another, regardless of how happy he is along the way.
Yesterday, they trailed the entire game before winning late. This is Love from three-point country, no. Rebound, Beard. Boy, he's an athlete. You can tell he's a good running back and defensive back with the way he gets up and down the floor.
Getting a lot of interest from college football schools already, and of course he's just a young man, another year still to go.
Askew is now on Ryan, so they'd like to post Ryan at this point. Shimwell and Beard playing catch. This is Troy Robertson. Down low is Seymour. They're going to give Troy the 3, and he drilled it.
Frank, I really like Troy Robertson, and I think a lot of college coaches will as soon as they look beyond Ryan, and they will when they see this team play. Excellent ball movement there by St. Charles. In and out, in and out. Good patience, good ball movement offensively, leading to the basket by Troy Robertson.
Love down low to Watkins. He's got it. Marquise's first deuce of the game. This is Beard from three-point land? No. Davidson with another strong rebound. Foul on Troy Robertson. That will be his second of the game, and that is crucial because they don't bring a lot of size off the bench, and Troy at 6'4", 6'5" is their leading rebounder.
He is. He's really a 3 guy kind of in their offense, and strong on the dribble, strong rebounder, just a smart player. Gets good positioning inside, and it's going to be a challenge for Troy and the Warriors all day against the bigger Vashon team, getting rebounds and not fouling when you don't get the basketball.
Watkins again down low.
Good hand.
Stripped by Seymour. We haven't seen Ryan move and do it in the open court yet. Shimwell threw up a brick, but good hustle to get it back. Troy from three-point land. Nope. Spears. Hacked by Watkins. That is going to be his second, and he'll come out right away. Checking in will be Maury Sanford. Wholesale substitution for St. Charles West. Number 5, Brad Hugg will check into the game. And also Dan Weber will check back into the game.
Well, as you mentioned, Stanford into the game, and you're right, that is foul number 2 on Watkins. We had thought it was a second foul on him earlier, but instead it went to Danny Davidson. So Watkins now saddled with the 2 fouls.
Actually, Floyd is going to keep Watkins in the game. In fact, yesterday, in the final minute of the first half, Watkins, who had 3 fouls, came back into the game, and he hit a 3, so it was a key substitution.
Well, he's a senior on this basketball team, and Coach Irons has a lot of faith in Marquise Watkins, really knows he needs him out there. There's a good look at the young man, 6'8" forward, getting a lot of interest late from schools, I think, Frankie. Wasn't necessarily at the top of people's list, but people didn't know about him. But boy, as time goes on, you're hearing and learning a lot about Marquise Watkins as an outstanding prospect.
There's going to be a lot of schools in the state that are going to regret the fact that they did not recruit this player. He did not start playing basketball until he was a freshman in high school, and he picked it up pretty quickly.
You know what he does as a 6'8" guy? He can step outside and shoot the ball well. So very versatile. I talked to him this morning. He said, I asked him, who's after? He goes, a lot of schools. A lot of schools are starting to show a lot of attention. So he'll have some nice decisions to make in his future. Here he is handling the ball.
To say the least, he is a man of few words.
Kind of like us, right?
That's right. Well, that's a nice athletic play by Shimwell to knock the ball out of bounds. Shimwell had the best game of his career yesterday with 13 points and really helped to get St. Charles here in the state final.
8 rebounds, too. Played his rear end off for the Warriors.
Askew guarded by Hugg. Shimwell with another good deflection, and he may get called for the foul. He does.
Well, that's a competitor right there, number 33 in maroon. Jim Shimwell was on the basketball team last year that made it to the Final Four. He's back along with Ryan Robertson as a senior, and he is really a gritty, gutsy player right in the middle of things always. There's a loose basketball, you'll find Jim Shimwell. May not get it all the time, may get a foul, but I'll tell you, he'll be right around it.
Ryan on love. St. Charles West remains in the man-to-man. Davidson lost it. Warriors ball.
I tell you, I think thousands of fans in the building thought we'd see a lot more scoring than we have so far, but it'll pick up soon enough, you can bet.
There is a break in the action. With 5:45 to go in the first half, St. Charles West leads 14-13. We'll be right back. And welcome back. There's a good look at 42-year-old Terry Hollander. His mom and dad, his wife, and his kids are here. In fact, his son last year had 37 points in one of the Final Four games. Terry Hollander.
Son Blake was a great player. He said from that semifinal loss to Vashon a year ago that St. Charles West suffered. His team learned a lot, really grew a lot. Been a great team ever since. They didn't play in the regular season this year. They've been 1-2, St. Charles West and Vashon in the St. Louis area all year long. One of them's going to be 1, the other number 2 in the state. And as we expected, a 1-point ball game here in the second period. You've done a great job with them, as you know, Frank Green from St. Louis.
Vashon moves to a 1-3-1 zone defense. The story in this game so far, though, 5:25 to go in the second. Ryan Robertson has not scored a bucket yet.
That's amazing. He's averaging 25 a game, hit 26 yesterday. Here he goes now. Ask and you shall receive, huh? On cue.
That is perfect. If you can, take a look at Ryan's nose. It is slightly bent. Yesterday, he took a knee to the head and to the nose area. And here he is in the middle of a state semifinal game. He goes to his father, Johnny, who is an assistant coach for St. Charles West, and he says, Dad, if this is broken, I'm going to a plastic surgeon. I'm not going to go my entire life with a twisted nose. Looks okay, though, now.
Yeah. He showed up for the game today, though. He's gonna put off any possible doctor work for a while, I think.
That's nice of him to do that. Ryan got his own rebound and missed it. This is Weber, and Watkins says, just get it out of here, son. Love guarded by Brad Hugg. Watkins from 3. That is his shot.
Yeah, he can do that. That's not out of style for him. He'll make a lot of those, so no problem with him taking that shot if he had a good look at the bucket.
Hugg in a little bit of trouble, but gives it out top to Troy. Who will shoot the 3? In and out. Interesting, our two marquee players, Marquise Watkins and Ryan Robertson, both off the slow starts here.
Really a surprise. You never would have guessed this, both of them. You know, with the combined 4 points so far midway through the second period.
This is Stanford. Oh. Rebound, Brad Hugg. This zone defense is definitely cutting down on the penetration that Ryan does.
That's the goal, and again, Vashon's defense, as much as anything over the years that I've seen Fort Irons coaches, and what's impressed me about the team, they always have an answer for the opposition. So far, so good, as they've really limited Robertson. Until now.
If we keep talking, he's going to have 40.
Well, now I know why Ryan looked over here and said, why don't you guys start talking about me? Not really, but he was probably begging for it, because once we start talking about him, he starts going, and that's the type of player he is.
Watkins down low. Shimwell called for goaltending. Now, you're going to have to pay attention to Vashon's defense, because the last trip down, they looked zone, then they went man-to-man, so Fort Irons doing a nice job of changing defenses every trip.
Giving them different looks defensively, and the thing about these great players, they can score in a hurry. There's Watkins' great position, and I don't think any argument, there really wasn't any argument from the St. Charles West bench on a goaltending call there as it counts for Watkins.
Eric Phillips will check in now for Shimwell. Great look by Ryan. Ball deflected. Rebound, Anthony Love.
Boy, a couple of impressive things there. The big guy Watkins going on the floor defensively after the basketball. Then the little guy Love, the guard, getting up there high for the rebound. A team effort defensively for Vashon.
This is Lamont Bonner on the turnaround. Give it to him. He can light it up in a hurry, too. Ryan, nice look to Troy. Foul on the play. Is it on Danny Davidson?
I believe so.
If it is, we'll wait for the call. That is his third personal foul. Danny Davidson's going to have to leave this game.
Well, again, the plus for Vashon, even with the foul call, is that they do have size and depth on the bench. Fort Irons would like Davidson in there because, as we mentioned, he's playing his best basketball, but he does have guys like Sanford and Bonner and Williams that he can rotate on the front line along with Watkins. So he's got a lot of size there. You can bet Danny Davidson isn't done that. He'll be back in the second half for the majority of time, at least if not in the first half.
Troy Robertson with more of a standard free throw than his brother Ryan. Ryan does that little skip. Here's the replay, and Davidson just kind of got in the way.
It's a pretty good example of a blocking foul when you have your back to the offensive player and you're moving.
Shimwell will check back in. Phillips will check out.
Token full court pressure by St. Charles West. We've seen that the last few times.
Beard pushed out Askew. So that'll be Beard's second foul. That's the seventh, so we'll start shooting the one-on-one.
Terry Hollander just looks like a basketball coach, doesn't he? I mean, he's always got the script, the game plan in hand, and a lot of times he just doesn't look that happy. But some of the coaches look that way during the game. Really into it, just showing their heart and soul with his basketball team.
Rebound, Dan Weber. Ryan to Beard. Back to Ryan. This is Troy. Beard from three-point land. Good hustle by Weber on the offensive board. Out of bounds on Askew.
Well, you called a great hustle by Weber inside to keep that ball alive, and St. Charles West retains possession. Just hard work. Rebounding usually is hard work, and St. Charles West certainly has a lot of that. Taking the state championship game, Weber was a great example there.
Troy, good look to Weber, but the ball stolen away by Askew. That's his second steal of the game. Love, the other end, is Bonner. Give it to him. 21-19, St. Charles West. 2:24 remaining in the first half. Shimwell to Beard. Terry Hollander off the bench calling for play 2. I imagine it'll end up in Ryan's hands.
They may as well call him all play number 11. That's usually who has the ball, Ryan Robertson. Travel call on Robertson. The turnover will give it to Vashon.
All right, there's a break in the action with 1:56 to go in the first half. And welcome back. Here's a look at Lamont Bonner on the block.
Well, outstanding position, got those long arms, calls for the basketball, smooth player, just a sophomore, averaging 11 points per game, shooting about 60% from the field. A very valuable member, a starter as a sophomore on a team trying for a state championship. Says a lot about him right there.
And Floyd Iron says he's more advanced at this stage than Anthony was.
Wow. And Anthony, of course, making a nice living in the Big Apple in the NBA with the Knicks.
He's doing okay for himself.
I'd say.
Askew down low to Watkins. Ball deflected. Askew got it back. Love from three. Nope. They'll call Askew on the foul there.
Well, they got to ask you, but I tell you, I like those little guys. Askew and Love are about 5'8", 5'9", but they are just jitterbugs all over the basketball court at both ends, and you have to admire their pesky nature. And again, they're the motor that keeps the team running. Of course, Terry Hollander doesn't like to see those little guys getting in after the rebounds. He'll take the foul. Adrian Beard, a tough guy to block off on the board as well. As you mentioned, a football player, and Beard now at the free throw line. And this kid is a junior, but look at him here today. 7 points, along with Troy Robertson, another junior, 7 points. St. Charles West, 90% from the line. That'll win you games, especially when they're close like this one.
And I guess that last little replay is a testament that we are in the 90s because we just saw a 5'8" and a 5'9" guy near the rim going for a rebound. We didn't see that 15 years ago.
More defined game back then, it seems, but athleticism. Taking over, go for the basketball, get to the rim, and these guys all can do it. They can all jump regardless of their physical size, it seems.
Checking in now for St. Charles West will be Brandon Lowry. And also Matt Hollander. He is the coach's nephew. 23-19 with 1:24 to go here in the first half. St. Charles West will remain in the man-to-man. Great look to Bonner. Marquise Watkins, beautiful pass.
Boy, that's great interior passing. Giving it up for the other guy with a closer look at the basket.
Ryan to Hollander. This is Shimwell. And Lowry. Backdoor Ryan. Pulls up, won't get it to fall. Rebound Watkins.
Marquise really gobbled up that rebound. We talked. He is a very quiet young man, at least publicly, very soft-spoken, doesn't say much, certainly very polite, just doesn't talk much. But on the court today, he has played with a fierce abandon going up for some of these rebounds to Coach Iron. And here he is giving the basketball up. Frank, unselfish as well, driving the lane, and there's Bonner open. Thanks so much, Marquise. Easy basket there for Vashon.
And I think that was a question mark going in about whether Watkins could put the ball on the floor and take it to the hole. And that's why many Division I schools question whether they should give him a scholarship. Well, Marquise Watkins yesterday, and probably the biggest moment of the game, went baseline. They're showing he can also put the ball on the floor. We've seen his jump shot all season long. But Washington State seems to be the school most interested in him. They're going to get a great player.
Well, they're coming into St. Louis. They got Joe Kobe and Chaminade, so they certainly will take what's left at the Gateway City if people want to view it that way. But Watkins, a guy with size who can shoot the basketball, pretty nice combination. You don't see that all the time.
St. Charles West leads 23-22, just 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Ryan has had a tough shooting first half. This is Beard. Out of bounds, Vashon Ball. I imagine the Wolverines will hold it for one shot.
Really an interesting scenario here with Marquise Watkins with 2 points for Vashon and Ryan Robertson. As you mentioned, with 5 points for St. Charles West. Warriors perhaps real fortunate. It's a one-point game in their favor with their star. The kid headed to Kansas to play major college basketball with just 5 points as near halftime.
20 seconds to go in the first half. This is Williams down low and stolen by Seymour.
Great defense. Now they hold for one shot. Should have the lead at halftime, St. Charles West.
Vashon drops back in that zone. Ryan won't get it to fall. This is Love. Bonner, fall out of bounds. So it'll be 1.2 seconds left.
Last second heroics yesterday in the semifinals, the end of the game. Robertson hits a free throw with 4/10 of a second to go to beat Kansas City Central by 1 and send Coach Hollander and his team here to this title game.
Ryan won't try to shoot it. And that'll do it. The first half is complete. St. Charles West leads it 23-22. This 4A championship basketball game will return after these messages from your local station. I'm Frank Cusumano, with me Chris Trevino. St. Charles West leads it 23-22. Not the most artistic first half we've seen all season long.
Not at all. These teams both can get up and down the floor. St. Charles West averaging 75 points per game, and Vashon averaging about 68 points per game. Both teams starting slowly, perhaps a bit of nervousness on their part. Also pretty good defense from the other team. And as we mentioned, the marquee players, Watkins for Vashon, Robertson for St. Charles West, started slowly, Frank, but they came on in the second period, and I would expect they will both multiply their point totals quite a bit here in the second half. But indeed, a slower start than we expected.
And I think Coach Irons deserves some credit for limiting the amount of times Ryan Robertson has touched the ball in the first half. He's kind of changed defenses, that zone defense, cut down on penetration. And also Danny Davidson has done a good job of denying Ryan the ball.
Well, you're right. People talk a lot about Vashon's ability to run up and down the floor, the great athletes they have, the great size they have. But I really believe in seeing this team, as I have the last couple of years, that their success comes from their defense, be it in a full-court pressing-type defense or a half-court defense, as we're seeing today. They play man-to-man, they play zone. They really get it done defensively and score a lot of transition baskets, and they can score in a hurry. We talk about them being below their point average so far today, but Frank, they can really explode in the second half off their defense, so we'll see if they keep on doing the job on Robertson and the rest of the Warriors.
Okay, we'll take a short break. St. Charles West leads it 23-22. We'll be back with a halftime interview after this. We're now here to Chris Trevino. And Chris, it's been a terrific weekend of basketball here at the Final Four. Why don't we highlight some of the good moments over the last 48 hours?
All right. Well, I tell you, yesterday's action was incredible. I mean, really exciting. Two great ball games decided in the final minutes. St. Charles West winning, as I had mentioned earlier, with the final second free throw by Ryan Robertson. He had 26 points in that game. Kansas City Central led by Derek Hood, who goes to Arkansas next year to play for Nolan Richardson's Razorbacks. He had 30 points and 15 rebounds. Then Vashon advanced with a 6-point win over Sykeston, but that wasn't as easy as you might think. Vashon had to come back from 13 down in the second half to win it. So again, both these teams earned their berth today in the state title game. Girls, meanwhile, Coriesu with a big win over Jackson. Park Hill with an interesting win over Wentzville. So it's St. Louis and Kansas City represented there. How about the Mexico Bulldogs in Class 3A? They beat the two-time defending state champ St. Francis Borgia by 30, and they will play tonight for the 3A title against Maryville, undefeated at 31-0. That ought to be a terrific, terrific game tonight at 8 o'clock. And the girls' game, Incarnate Word, impressive over St. James, and Helias over St. Teresa's. Now, there was action already, if you can believe it, folks, this morning, even earlier in this championship game. Kansas City Central against Sykeston for third place here in Class 4A. Central with the basketball, a tie game, and time running down. Derek Hood headed to Arkansas, as I mentioned, next year. Late in the ball game, will get the rebounds, put it back up, and in with a little help from the rim. That was the game winner. Kansas City Central survived 68-66 to take third place this year, winning a thriller over Sykeston. Hood had a great game yesterday, 30 points, 15 rebounds. In today's third place game, he has 20 points, the two biggest there on that putback to win it for Kansas City Central.
Chris, thank you very much. I want to tell you about another big high school event coming to the St. Louis area very soon. The best high school basketball players in the country, including St. Louis and Ryan Robertson, who is playing here today, will be at the Kiel Center in St. Louis on Sunday, April 2nd at the McDonald's All-American High School Basketball Game. Tip-off is at 11:30. All proceeds benefit Ronald McDonald Children's Charities of St. Louis and Metro East. Tickets are available at the Kiel Center box office, all Ticket Now outlets, or by calling Dial-A-Text at 314-291-7600. We'll take a short break. It'll be a local break, and we'll be right back after this. Look at the first half stats brought to you by DuPont Canopy Herbicide. Field goal percentage, 24% for St. Charles West. Vashon started to pick it up at 43.
I think that shows the defense, Vashon, really causing St. Charles West problems offensively, getting good shots because they pass the ball well offensively. You usually do get good shots, St. Charles West.
Good thing the Warriors are hitting their free throws, 91%. Vashon is 2 for 4 at 50%. Turnovers, Vashon with 8, St. Charles West with 6. St. Charles West, though, surprisingly, has a commanding lead on the board, 22-13.
Maybe the most surprising stat of all the ones we just ran through there, the fact that they're rebounding well. But again, that's what it's taken, hard work on the glass to keep them in this ball game and, in fact, have St. Charles West in front by a point.
Okay, we'll take a short break, and we'll be back with the second half action right after this. And we are back and ready for the start of the third quarter. It's going to be Beard, Robertson, Shemwell, Robertson, Troy Robertson, and Dan Weber for St. Charles West. They have Love, Askew, Watkins, Bonner, and Davidson for Vashon. Davidson will start the third quarter with 3 fouls for the Wolverines.
And Vashon starting in, it looks like a zone defense, Frank. I think we're reading each other's minds there. They've switched again.
This is Ryan. This is Troy. Back to Ryan. Beard had 9 points in the first half, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. He is St. Charles West leading scorer. Ryan Robertson is just 1 for 5, and he has 7 points. Shimwell on the baseline, not a threat from there. Good look inside to Shimwell. Turn around from 6, no. Rebound Watkins. His 6th rebound of the game. Love around Ryan. Won't get it to fall. Rebound Shimwell. Ryan the other end. Love 0 for 4 now. Troy inside. Won't get the lefty to fall.
Pretty try, though, with the left hand. It looked good, just wouldn't fall for him.
Steal Ryan. Nice little crossover dribble. 3-on-2, St. Charles West. Ryan crossover in the lane. Weber inside. Can't get it up. Back to Beard.
Well, very patient now offensively, St. Charles West, as you need to be against the zone. We'll see how they move the ball. Shemwell in the middle of the floor. A lot of times that's where you'll find something against the zone defense. Somebody in the middle by the free throw line.
Nice steal, Anthony Love. Here's Watkins behind the back. Oh, my goodness.
Hello!
The play of the game. 24-23.
I'm Marquise Watkins. I can play major college ball. What a ball handler for 6'8".
And you tell me that Norm Stewart is somewhere in this building, is that right? You saw his car, right?
Yeah, he may be practicing with his team, though, for the NCAA tournament. But he and a lot of others, I think, should take note of this young man. And they've got to do what's right for their program. Watkins will play somewhere, though, in college, believe me.
Great steal, Beard. Here's Ryan ahead to Troy. Rejected by Danny Davidson, and that could be his 4th foul.
Oh, I can't wait for a replay from Marquise Watkins when we get a chance. What a play that was. And, of course, the fine folks at One-on-One Productions deliver on cue. The block at one end. Defensively, Vashon, and then Marquise Watkins. Excuse me. Don't mind if I do.
Didn't start playing basketball until his freshman year at Vashon.
And that's the thing about him. He is a late bloomer, if you will. This kid just started playing ball a couple of years ago and can do that.
Since we brought up Norm Stewart, I do want to say an interesting story. He lost a tough recruiting battle for Ryan Robertson. Ryan, of course, is going to Kansas. But 2 days ago, Norm Stewart sent a telegram to the Ryan Robertson household wishing the family good luck in the state championship.
Yeah, it was really a great recruiting process, and Coach Stewart, I thought, a great gesture on his part, wishing him luck right before this tournament. And they'd love to have Ryan Robertson, but you don't always get what you want, unfortunately.
Good ball movement. Bonner down low on the block. Foul down low.
Well, I tell you, it's picking up a little bit now. A slam dunk like that's gotten the crowd into it. Tie ball game midway through the third period. Not as much points on the board overall as we thought, but we're getting after it now.
It looks like it's going to be they didn't call it on Maurice Stanford.
Bonner, I believe, the inside was in the middle of it, so it probably went to him. They haven't put the foul up yet.
Shimwell. From 8, no. Good hustle, Weber. Picked up, though, by Askew. Nice drive with the left hand.
I tell you, you blink, and these guys, Love and/or Askew, are behind it like that. And again, I'll just tell the viewers, keep your eye out for these two guys, because Ryan Robertson is great at one end, But Love and Askew did it last year. They've done it throughout this year. They can take over with their quickness in the third and fourth periods of games. They played all 32 minutes in the semifinal yesterday. Both of them went the whole way. Great endurance.
So Askew will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. We're tied at 24 with 5:11 remaining in the third period. That's Troy Robertson's third personal foul.
I'm thinking a little bit about foul trouble at this point in the ball game.
You know, as the athleticism has increased in high school basketball, the percentage of free throws has decreased. And I think it's a direct parallel that the kids in the summer months don't want to go to a gym and shoot 15-foot free throws. They want to go out in the playground. They want to run and dunk.
And I think shoot three-pointers. The three-point line, well, it's helped the game overall, I think, has hindered free throw shooting. Kids stepping out and shooting the three all the time, maybe.
Ryan inside with the right hand. Boy, they really wanted the foul. They're not going to call on Sanford. Askew the other end. Islanders off the bench. Gives the tip to Lamont Bonner.
Yeah, Bonner working hard offensively, and Vashon now starting to get it into their tempo, if you will.
Great look by Beard down low, and they're going to call Askew on the foul. That'll be his second. Ryan will go to the line to shoot a couple.
Well, Ryan Robertson got underneath that time. You don't expect Robertson, the guard, to be working underneath the boards, but he got in, got open, and they got the ball to him, causing the foul. Here it is, Beard, nice vision. Adrian Beard on the baseline, finding his teammate, drawing the foul inside. And I would say good play by Robertson to get to an open spot on the floor underneath and get a high percentage shot into a foul. And here he is, almost automatic from the free throw line.
He has kind of an awkward free throw, as we touched on earlier. He does kind of a little hop skip there, almost similar to Hal Greer of the 76ers, where he almost shot a jump shot at the free throw line.
82% free thrower. Yesterday, he was fouled at the end of the game. The team thought it was a three-point shot that he attempted, but the referee said just 2. He took 2, and Coach Hollinger said, hey, he would have just had 1. That would have been plenty because I was so confident to make it to win the game, and he did.
There's a break in the action. St. Charles West 26, Vashon 26. The Missouri Class 4A Championship basketball game will return after these messages from your local station. We are tied in the third quarter, and here is the play of the game. Anthony Love in the open court, and look at Marquise Watkins. Change direction, go behind the back, and throw it down.
Wow. Don't need to say much about that. It speaks for itself there. A picture worth 1,000 words. Marquise Watkins.
The Warriors remain in the man-to-man defense. Down low is Bonner. He says, give me the basketball. He's got 6'2" Dan Weber on him, and his eyes are getting big.
Yeah, he is. And how about this? A sophomore stepping up like Lamont Bonner is and putting his team ahead with some big baskets this half. Needless foul, though, that time on Vashon.
They call the foul on Askew, and this could be crucial because that's his third foul of the game. Floyd Irons, as we mentioned earlier, says that Askew is the pulse of this basketball team. He leads the team in assists. He's not a point guard, but he may be their best defensive player and a true leader on this club.
He says when you need him, Ernie Askew, as he calls him Ernie sometimes, will show up.
Beard. Stanford says don't shoot from there. Ryan will.
Yeah.
Rebound, Watkins. Good look to Bonner. Nice cross-court pass to Love. Nope. Love is 0 for 5.
Anyway, that's a good pass. That's a young man, Bonner, who knows how to play the game. Good diagonal pass across the court to the open man. Well-schooled basketball team, and that should be no surprise to anyone who knows anything about the shot in Missouri high school basketball.
This is Askew. Has time, has room, has 3. 31-26. It's Vashon's biggest lead of the game. Troy Roberts on the other end. Weber, Beard. Weber lost it down low, gets it back. They'll call a foul on Sanford.
And Weber, fortunate to come out of that because he really lost the handle on the basketball, was surrounded by the tall timber of Vashon's defenders, but managed to get the foul against the Wolverines. Great luck from Troy Robertson. Look at that bounce pass in there on the block. And Weber, who had good position, just didn't go up strong enough with it. Lost the handle, but hey, after all that struggle, he is on the free throw line, so not all is lost to St. Charles West by any means.
And I'll tell you what, after looking at that replay, Ernest Askew is quite fortunate that he did not pick up his fourth foul. Weber will can the free throw. Weber was described to me by the St. Charles West coaching staff as a Jason Sutherland type, quite fiery. In fact, yesterday when he came out of the game a couple of times, he didn't like it a bit. He's a junior. He'll be back next year. Both teams only lose 2 seniors in their starting 5.
That's what's really amazing about this, and here they are playing for a 4A state championship.
Of course, they're losing a couple of good seniors.
Yeah, they're not
Watkins
bad.
and Robertson.
Pretty good players.
Down low, Bonner.
I tell you, Frank, it's simple. You know, you don't have to make the game difficult. You've got a huge size advantage with Bonner inside. Vashon knows that. They get the ball to it, and the young man converts. It's not a difficult game unless you make it that way.
Here, the other end. Rebound, Bonner. He had Love, but he gives to Askew. Love is in the air. Nope. Rebound, Watkins. Love is, oh, this is Askew. The other end is Beard. Little crossover. Oh,
This
he
is
picked his
vintage
pocket.
Vashon. These guys, I tell you, they turn it on this time.
Crossover dribble.
Hello.
Great move by
Hello.
Ernest Askew.
Well, I can't say we didn't warn folks. Those guys are incredible with their quickness and their timing in the second half of games usually.
Troy down low with a good dish. The foul is going to be on Sanford.
Boy, I mean, you know, we've just seen it before. Love and Askew defensively pickpocketing players and taking it to the other end. And St. Charles West has seen it before. That's the problem. You just can't prepare, I believe, for the quickness that those 2 guards of Vashon have out front defensively. Look how quickly they are even going backwards. Look at this, though. Askew coming out and
He actually, no, he shot with the right hand.
yeah. What a move, and again, it started with the defense. Their transition game starts with the defense, gets easy baskets at the other end. Vashon did that last year to win a state championship. They might do it this year to win a title, but St. Charles West by no means out of it, just down 7 late in the 3rd period.
(35-28) with 2:18 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bill Seymour has checked in the game for St. Charles West. There is a break in the action. With 2:18 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Vashon leads it 35-29. We'll be right back. And welcome back, 35-29, and I think those statistics are quite condemning to St. Charles West. 0 for 7 in the second half.
Well, the Warriors were up by a point at halftime. Now they find themselves down 6. Yes, it's hard to maintain a lead when you haven't made a basket from the floor in about 6 minutes of play here in the 3rd period. I really think they've got to be surprised. Even if Ryan Robertson didn't score much, they would think they'd get more baskets from other guys on the team, more open shots. But Vashon doing a job defensively. Defense wins championships. Vashon trying to make it happen here again today.
Brad Hugg is checked in the basketball game for St. Charles West. He has Watkins at the top of the key, but he gives to Sanford down low. This is Love.
3 seconds on Vashon. I believe they got Watkins there in the lane too long, so it'll go back to St. Charles West. Still hanging in there, just down 6. Substitution, you see Ernest Askew come back in, and again, he's a guy that Floyd Irons really wants to have in the game when it's getting late. It's amazing he even came out of the game. He played all 32 minutes yesterday, gave him a breather, had a little bit of foul trouble, but he's back in now for the final minute and a half of the 3rd period and most of the game if he can stay out of trouble.
Troy Robertson hawked by Askew. This is Brad Hugg.
Look how close they're guarding Robertson there. They just surround him with that zone defense out front there.
Troy would like to shoot it, but Bonner says not here. This is Seymour. Hugg.
That 1-3-1's been very effective for Vashon. They're staying with it. And again, St. Charles West patient, but not getting anything inside until he penetrates.
Oh, what a move. What a darting move by Ryan Robertson. You know, he may not have the classic jump shot, but this guy off the dribble is as good as anybody we've seen in the state over the last 5-6 years.
We mentioned off the top of the broadcast, watch the quick step to the baseline. Just when things are looking bleak, no shot, Ryan decides to take it himself. Maybe he'll have to do that more here down the stretch. He can shoot the basketball about 40% from the three-point arc, but he's most effective when he goes to the basket. I think a lot like some other Kansas guards we've come to know over the years. Rex Chapman, Jared Haas, certainly decent shooters, but they're really strong to the basket. That's where the most effective, either laying it in or dropping it off to teammates.
35-31 Vashon. Bonner down low to Watkins. Gets his own rebound. A foul before the shot. The foul is going to be on Brad Hugg.
Well, again, it's maybe even more amazing and more a testament to St. Charles West's abilities and well-coached basketball team that we haven't seen more fouls inside. I mean, Vashon just has too much size for that man, Terry Hollander, to cope with, or to expect to cope with, but he's giving it his best shot, and Wolverines retain possession of it.
This is Love. He's lost it. Bonner picked it up. Out top to Watkins. Love hawked by Ryan Robertson. Askew. Air ball. Rebound Troy. Ryan inside. A little double pumper. Won't get the fall, but he got the chip in. He's starting to come alive, folks.
Great players do that, don't they? They step up in crunch time. They're back within 2.
5 seconds to go in the third quarter. Love. Rejected. Partially blocked by Ryan Robertson.
Why not?
What a sequence there.
Yes.
So after 3 quarters, Vashon leads it 35-33. This Class 4A championship basketball game will return after these messages from your local station. 33, Vashon. This 2-point differential should not surprise anybody. Last year they played 4 periods and they were still tied.
79-77, Vashon beats St. Charles West in the semifinals. We're a day further along now. The prize is bigger, and sure enough, a 2-point game.
They're going to call Shimwell with the foul. That'll be his third. Last year, of course, there's field goal percentage in the second half. St. Charles West 2 for 10. Vashon 6 for 13. Now, last year, Vashon won it on a last-second shot by Antonio Boba.
In overtime, a baseline jumper from the right baseline won it. We saw Jim Shemwell a second ago. He said that was the worst loss of his life. He remembered it and thinking about it coming into this game at least.
Beard has checked back into the game. Down low is Watkins. They'll call Seymour with the foul, and the bucket will count.
Great persistence and maybe more importantly strength by Marquise Watkins. The help defense by St. Charles West tried to take the basketball away from him initially. He got the ball, went up strong, got the basket and the foul. Marquise Watkins. And again, you watch this Troy Robertson come over for the Warriors, slap it away. Watkins gets it back, turns and scores right away like you like to see big men do. Get it up and in. He did it and is on the free throw line and put it in.
He hit the free throw. 38-33, 7:34 remaining in the Class 4A basketball season.
Really? Best 2 teams in St. Louis this year, ranked as the best big schools at least, and here they are, the best 2 in the state when the rankings really count on the last day of the 4A season.
Vashon in a 2-1-2 zone defense. Troy Robertson, baseline.
Wow.
He took a cue from his brother and went baseline.
Well, that's right. I mean, the way to get around the zone, if you can't get the open shot, is to penetrate past the basketball. Vashon tough on the perimeter, so they're finding seams now and going to the basket. Like brother, huh? You can tell they're related. They look somewhat similar on this move. Beautiful, and we're getting set for a great finish, Mr. Cusimano.
I think so. Marquise Watkins is all over James Williams, and I imagine that Floyd Irons is going to have a talk with Williams. You just can't let these guys go baseline like this.
Got to protect your territory defensively.
38-36. This is Williams. Watkins. He'd like to shoot from there, but Shimwell's up in his face. Askew around Ryan and drills the jumper off the glass. You're talking about a 5'8" guy rising on a 6'4" guy and going off glass. Here, Troy Robertson. Vashon goes 1-3-1 now. 5'8" Ernest Askew is the man on the baseline.
And the big guy, 6'8" James Williams in the middle there. Got to get his arms up, though, defensively.
He glides baseline, misses it, gets his own rebound. Ryan Robertson, give it to him.
Who would have thought Ryan Robertson would be doing some damage inside with the penetration and the baskets inside? 13 points for Ryan, a lot coming under the hoop as opposed to away from it.
Askew fouled before he drove the lane. Let's take a look at Robertson on the other end. This guy doesn't drive baseline, he glides baseline.
Really something. And what's amazing is not the drive. We know he can do that, but the persistence and the offensive rebounding and putback by the young man. Just determined. I think he knows like we do. His high school career is over in about 6 minutes, one way or the other.
So play with reckless abandon.
Right.
This is Love. St. Charles West has remained in this man-to-man the entire game.
Look at the defense, how close they are.
Down low to Bonner. Stolen away and picked up by Beard.
Bodies all over the place.
The Warriors will take it the other way. Troy Robertson, got it!
Wow! Oh, man! What a turnaround!
St. Charles West has the lead, 41-40.
Vashon wants timeout. They were signaling it. Now they're going to wait at least until they get into the forecourt.
There you see the St. Charles West faithful.
They had signaled for timeout, but now Coach Irons decided differently, probably knowing there's a media timeout coming up soon.
It'll be a push on Shemwell. That will be his fourth foul. And as we look on that St. Charles West bench, it doesn't look like Terry Hollander has the luxury of bringing off another 6'7" athlete like Shemwell.
Well, he's going to bring in Dan Weber and give it his best shot. He's not a Shemwell in terms of the size or strength or even necessarily the experience, but he's giving it his best shot, and you're right. Costly substitution perhaps in that you lose a senior Shemwell who's been in this situation before last year in the semifinal game and played pretty well defensively today.
Now we'll see if Watkins will take Weber inside right away. Instead, it's Bonner. Askew, great look to Stanford. He throws it down.
Oh. What a game.
42-41, Vashon. 5 minutes to go in this one. Troy Robertson, Ryan Robertson, Beard.
Having fun, Frank?
Oh, this is great. I do it for free, but let's don't tell the people from one-on-one. They heard it. Here's Beard from three. Nope.
Robertson, Troy underneath. Boy, these guys are tough. You know, Ryan and Troy Robertson have combined for 27 of the 41 St. Charles West points. Ryan with 13, Troy with 14. What a tandem they've been.
Here's a look at the Vashon dunk on the other end. Askew with that great look from Maurice Sanford. Just a sophomore, folks.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Sanford, a 6'7" sophomore. Bonner, a 6'6" sophomore. James Williams, a 6'8" sophomore. Are you kidding me?
Davidson's coming back next year
as a junior.
They'll bring back their point guard, Anthony Love.
Yeah. Not a bad returning group. And, of course, Troy Robertson, who we're looking at now more currently, will be back next year for St. Charles West. He's just a junior, and he leads his team in scoring in the state title game with 15 big points.
I'm thinking Floyd has a better chance of being back there next year than you and I do.
Yeah, I think that much is a given, Frank.
There is a break in the action. 4:44 to go in this basketball game. St. Charles West leads it 43-42. We'll be right back. And welcome back. 43-42, St. Charles West with 4:44 to go in this basketball season for the 4A schools.
With so many viewing
Davidson
choices.
is behind the Vashon bench right now. It looks like he's stretching. I'm not sure if he has a hamstring problem or what, but he is not on the bench right now. This is Askew. Love. The lob to Watkins, and he throws it with passion down.
Great look. Great look by Love to Watkins inside. I mean, that takes two on that one, two to tango, and if they worked that time.
Vashon up one now. Ryan. From three-point land.
Got it. Just as it should be. Watkins with a big loud jam at one end, and then Robertson, the three to answer at his end of the floor.
Great players like these situations.
You've
Give me the
noticed.
ball. This is Sanford. Love. Watkins. Love again. Nope. Oh, nice chip by Maurice Sanford. The other end is Troy Robertson. The turnaround won't fall. Watkins is a man among boys.
Well,
Foul on Weber.
Marquise Watkins with 12 points, and he's in double figures in rebounding as well. And 2 of those 12 pants from the high percentage shot here. A solid 2 points right there. A great, great pass from out front by Love to his teammate Marquise Watkins with another marquee play.
I want you to take a look at Marquise here. A friend of mine, a talk show host in St. Louis, Mike Claiborne, brought this up. Look at the similarity between Marquise Watkins and Elvin Hayes, just in the face and a little bit in the body, too. 6'8", smooth shooters.
And, you know, we saw him last year in the state title game. He's really matured and grown, much stronger and much more mature basketball player, as you'd expect, of course, for a young high school man to be coming into a senior season after a junior campaign.
So we're tied at 46 with 3:10 to go, and Coach Terry Hollander says, let's talk it over, man. There is a break in the action. This Class 4A championship basketball game will return after these messages from your local station. Welcome back. 46-46, 3:11. And here is one of the moments of the second half.
Well, great choreography, if you will, to see Watkins coming in from the right wing. So many slam dunks are spontaneous, but that was a well-prepared play by Love out front, recognizing Watkins going to the basket and getting the ball to him also.
A little run-and trap defense here by Vashon. Floyd Irons has as many defense as he does victories. He's got about 550 of those.
And it's worked well today, 10 of 39 shooting, as the viewers can see, for the Warriors. Yet they have to be pleased, obviously, with shooting that poorly. They're still tied with under 3 minutes to go. Amazing.
Shimwell is back into the ballgame. Puts the ball on the baseline. This is Ryan from 3. Got it.
Well, that's a great play. They brought him around to curl outside the screen there, and he knocked down the 3. And you talk about a kid heading to Kansas. Jayhawks do that all the time. Screen for outside shooters. Robertson, a big 3 to give him that much of a lead, 3 points.
He has 19 points. Not bad for a guy who was supposedly having a quiet day.
Yeah, well, like you said, he'll be back in the second half. He has arrived, no doubt.
49-46, St. Charles West. We have 2:10 to go in this one. St. Charles West now in a 2-1-2 zone defense. Watkins from 3. Got it.
I mean, this is what it's supposed to be like. Great player at one end, great player at the other end, and we are tied again.
Ryan calling for a set play. That usually means get out of my way. Here I come. Great look to Shimwell. Rejected by Watkins.
Wow. Great pass, great flop.
It looked very clean. Timeout, Vashon. What a tremendous defensive play by Watkins.
Boy, that sure was, because it was a great entry pass by Robertson to get it in underneath to his open man. We've talked about him so much. Great court vision and awareness. Makes his teammates that much better. Take a look at the penetration and the dish. And here's Watkins goes up to bat the ball away for Vashon. Huge defensive play for the Wolverines now, who come back with it. And we're down to 135. That is a monster play in this game, the way things are shaping up.
There's a good look at the Vashon contingent. They didn't bring up a lot of numbers, but as you can tell, there's some passionate Vashon fans. I guess of all the Final Four teams here, Sykeston definitely brought up the biggest.
They had a huge contingent up from Sykeston, lost 2 heartbreakers by 6 to Vashon in the semifinals. They lost the third-place game today by 2 to Kansas City Central. This has been a wonderful weekend. We've talked about it between ourselves off the air. The 2 games yesterday were great. The third-place game was great. Great, loud, spirited crowd. And a tie game with 95 seconds to go. You just cannot ask for anything more in this situation.
Ryan Robertson looking to bring home the first state championship to St. Charles since 1957.
Take a look at this play. Robertson will curl around here for a little curl play. Got a screen from Shimwell and knocked down the 3-pointer. That is well-organized offensive basketball. Well-coached play. But again, he'll be a great coach. The kid's got to execute it. Ryan did.
Danny Davidson back into the game for Vashon. Playing with 4. Down low.
There he
Give
is.
him the bucket.
Danny Davidson on cue. Coach Iron said he was the key to the semifinal victory. Big basket here to put him up in the finals.
51-49. Lamont Bonner will guard Troy Robertson. Askew on Ryan. Love will guard Beard. 1:05 to go. 51-49 Vashon. Some real drama at the Hearn Center. Beard. Ryan from 3. Got it. Ryan Robertson with another 3. 52-51. His third 3 of the fourth quarter. He has 22. Askew the other end. Down low is Watkins. Rebound Shimwell. Ryan Robertson has the ball. They want a timeout, but instead they'll get the dunk. Wow! Let the dunk! Terry Hollander wanted a timeout, but they went the other end and got the jam. 54-51. Love from 3. No! Rebound Weber. Foul on Vashon. 54-51. St. Charles West with 13 seconds to go.
Well, that was an amazing turnaround. The coach wanted a timeout. He'll never be so happy not to get one. Listen to this place. I'll say it's St. Charles West. It's St. Charles West about 100 miles in Columbia. The whole area is here cheering on their Warriors.
There's Terry Hollander. He's coached high school basketball his entire life. He's never won a state championship. His mother and father are in the stands. His wife and kids are. You know this has got to be an emotional time for him. But there still is plenty of basketball left. 54-51, 13 seconds to go.
We'll look a little bit at this final stretch here by St. Charles West, and what a big basket. Ryan Robertson, Ryan's hope is answered at a key time, and he has really stepped up in the second half as we thought. A slow first half, but really coming on. 17 of his 22 in the final half. That's the thing about these players. They're so good, it's predictable. You knew they'd come on. You knew Robertson would come on. Look at the dish here to brother Troy, over to Shemwell for a big slam and possibly an exclamation point. Not over yet, though. Just 3 points for St. Charles West, although, of course, they've got the basketball. And look at Hollander. Terry Hollander really working with his ball club. Got the pen out, the marker out. Great coach. And as you mentioned, he's always just wanted to coach basketball and win. And he's got his chance now, 13 seconds. But he's got an old, crafty veteran coach looking down out of the other end of the court, Florida Irons.
So going to the free throw line will be Dan Weber. And I think it's safe to say these are the most important free throws of this young man's life.
Just don't tell him that. You might make him nervous.
He's got it. And the second one is usually easier.
I would think so, and you saw the free throw percentage, 84%, I believe it was, for St. Charles West, and 25 for Vashon. Hey, close ball games, that's the difference, no doubt.
He got them both. Vashon the other end. Askew. Love. Stolen by Ryan Robertson. St. Charles West is going to win a state championship. A foul on the play. Ryan will go to the line. St. Charles West can taste it. A dejected Floyd Irons, who's done such a spectacular job all season long.
Well, it looks like St. Charles West will get their first state title in today's game, much like yesterday's semifinal game and the whole playoff run. They've been in battles all the way through. St. Charles West won a 6-point ball game in sectionals, had to win an overtime ball game in the quarterfinals to get here. Won a close game yesterday by 1 point, and now they've come back from 6 down in the second half, closing in on a title. And the doors closing even more shut on Vashon. But what a team really kept its composure. Coach Terry Hunter talked so much about this team's composure and the kids hanging in there close together. They have today again.
Ryan Robertson told us before the game that he's done everything except win a state title. It's going to happen in 8 seconds for him. 58-51. There is a timeout on the floor. We're going to keep it right here, though. 58-51 with 7.4 seconds remaining in this one.
Wow, what a finish. And again, it's a situation where St. Charles West got to the semifinals last year, their first ever Final Four appearance, played against this outstanding coach and his well-coached team, Floyd Irons. Vashon Wolverines last year lost by 2 in overtime in the semifinals. Coach Hollander at St. Charles West said they learned a lot from that ball game. They have tremendous tradition at Vashon, great respect for that team, but they feel their time is now. They've earned this opportunity, and they're about to take advantage of it. He said they are as well prepared as they can be for this opportunity. They've been a great team ever since that semifinal loss. They remembered it. Jimmy Shemwell, the senior, said, worst loss of my life. It looks like they'll atone for it here a year later and a day later in the state championship game.
And this will be the first state championship in St. Charles County since 1957, when a coach by the name of Gene Bartow led them to the state title. There's Terry Hollander. Danny Davidson will be the trigger man. There's not much they can do here, though. Love. Bonner. Askew from 3. Nope. The tip, nope. And that'll do it. St. Charles West has won the state championship. The final score, 58-51. There is bedlam on the floor of the Hearn Center. Enjoy the moment. Terry Hollander congratulated by Floyd Irons. Is going to try to bring over Terry Hollander to our bench. And it's an extremely emotional moment for Terry Hollander. We're joined now by the head coach of the St. Charles West Warriors, Terry Hollander. And Coach, your emotions at this point, how do you feel?
Probably as happy as I've been in my life, except for getting married and having children.
Coach, Ryan Robertson got off to a slow start, and if he has a dent in his armor, it's shooting the 3, but all of a sudden, when you needed him most, he drills 3 in the fourth quarter.
Ryan's, he's a great player. He's a money player. He's one of the best players ever to play in the state of Missouri, and he showed it the fourth quarter. Tremendous effort the fourth quarter by all of our kids.
Coach, what does it mean to the city of St. Charles County, to the county itself to win their first state title since 1957?
I think it means a lot. We're really, I'm a St. Charles guy, and we've tried to do the best we could for St. Charles with a great effort. I'm really proud.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's Terry Hollander, the coach of St. Charles West. Congratulations once again. The Class 4A championship basketball game will return after these messages from your local stations. We'll be right back. Yeah. And we are back. St. Charles West has won the state championship. They beat Vashon 58-51. We're joined now by our Zenith Player of the Day and probably the Player of the Year, Ryan Robertson. 24 points, 3 assists, 4 of 6 from three-point country. Your emotions right now, Ryan. You told us that this is the one thing you haven't done, and now you've done it.
Well, I don't know what to say. I knew that we were coming down the stretch, that the guys were going to be giving me the ball to handle, and I just got behind the arc and let it go, and it went in, and I'm so fortunate, and I play with the greatest bunch of guys, and we're state champs, and I'm so happy.
Ryan, the one dent in your armor, according to most, is the three-point shooting, yet you drill 3 in the fourth quarter. You just simply said, give me the ball.
Well, I take a lot of pride in being this team's leader. And, they needed me to hit some big shots in the clutch, and I tried to do my absolute best. And like I said, I happened to make them, and now we're state champs, and we're going back to St. Charles winners.
And how do you celebrate tonight?
A lot and safely, I guess.
Brian, congratulations on a great career.
Thank you very much.
You know, you could have made us all happy and signed with Mizzou and played right here, though.
Yeah, well, obviously they're great friends, and I like them a lot, but the University of Kansas, who should be playing pretty soon at the Big 8 anyways, is a great school, and I can't wait to play there.
Thanks, Brian. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Cusumano.
All right, this Missouri High School Activities Association Class 5A championship game has been produced by One-on-One Productions, St. Louis and Kansas City, in conjunction with the Missouri High School Activities Association. Any rebroadcast or other use of the afternoon's game without written consent is prohibited. So long, everybody.
Basketball. Yeah, we saw just two terrific players in Columbia. Ryan Robertson and Marquise Watkins are two of the very best players in the state of Missouri, and today they went head-to-head in the state 4A championship game. Robertson for St. Charles West, Watkins for Vashon. Watkins is 6'9". He can really leap. He'll take the alley-oop dunk here and slam it down, and Floyd Irons Wolverines were nursing a narrow lead late in the game. Then Robertson went to work. He got hot from three-point range and put the Warriors ahead with that shot. Watkins answered at the other end, this time with a three-pointer of his own. He can do it inside, he can do it outside. Put Vashon ahead by a point. Final minute of the game. Again, it's Robertson for three, and he nails another bomb. Robertson, headed for Kansas, had 24 points. After Vashon missed, he led the fast break and ends with a rim-rattling, game-clinching dunk. St. Charles West wins the first state title for St. Charles since Gene Bartow was there back in 1957. Vashon comes up just short, the final 58-51. And the celebration is on in St. Charles. In girls
more basketball, and I guess there's some big celebrations going on in St. Charles this evening.
Absolutely, and the best thing about this game was both teams played well. And regardless of who you wanted to win, that's the bottom line. It was a tremendous game. But in big games, your best players are supposed to have big games. And that's what made today's 4A Boys High School State Championship game so special. St. Charles West had superstar Ryan Robertson, who was just enough to overcome Marquise Watkins and the Vashon Wolverines. Now, Terry Hollander, the St. Charles West coach, was trying to avoid the loss last year in the semis at the hands of Vashon. Robertson held only 5 points in the first half, exploded in the second half here with a three. He had 25 in the game. Vashon had the answer with a nice D. James Shemwell goes up. Marquise Watkins says, "Get it out of here." But late in the game, Robertson spots up. They say he can't shoot the three. Bang, he hits one there. He was 4 of 6 behind the arc in the second half. Floyd Irons doesn't like what he sees, and then later on, James Shemwell finishes it off with a dunk, and St. Charles West goes on to win the game. The first time since 1957 they won a title. Congrats to the Warriors. They win at the final there, 58-51.
Thanks to all those folks out there. We're going to talk some basketball right now. Yesterday, St. Charles West star Ryan Robertson offered this perspective prior to the Warriors' 4A state championship game with Vashon. To be the man, you've got to beat the man. Last couple of years, Vashon, no question, has been the man, but not this year. What a game this turned out to be. Let's pick it up in the fourth. Vashon takes the lead. Anthony Love, alley-oop to Marquise Watson, all pretty. Warriors answer with Mr. Robertson. The corner. Ryan Robertson nails it. He has the game. Vashon, though, sticking in it. They answer. Ernest Askew goes low to Danny Davidson, usually an outside shooter, but he muscles one up, puts it up and in. Vashon by 2, but Robertson was red hot. 19 of his 24 points in the second half. He hit 3 long ones. Floyd Irons does not have an answer for the Kansas recruit as the Warriors pull away in the final seconds. Troy Robertson, Jim Shemwell, exclamation point. It's over. St. Charles wins it 58-57. They are the new 4A state champions. Other games today in
All-American kid. All-American Ryan Robertson had 24 points overall, including 3 trays in the fourth quarter. Good enough to lead St. Charles to a thrilling 58-51 victory over Vashon in the Class 4A title game. Robinson was recruited by Mizzou, but he's going to Kansas, where he'll play next year as a freshman. And finally tonight, the Ambush hosting the Kansas City Attack at Kielson. Final in Columbia. Ryan Robertson of St. Charles West said the only thing he hadn't accomplished in high school basketball was a state title. And we'll never have to say that again. Vashon and St. Charles West were tied late in the game when Robinson decided to take over. Hits the three-pointer from the right side of the arc. But anything he can do, Vashon's Marquise Watkins can also do. He steps outside and drains his own three-pointer. This tied the game back up. But as we said, Robertson would not be denied. This time the other side of the court, another three-pointer, 4 of 6 from behind the stripe in the second half. And then Robertson to his brother Troy inside the Jim Shemwell for the exclamation point. That's the icing on the cake. St. Charles West wins their first ever boys 4A basketball title. They win it over Vashon 58-51.